creature taunts me with this pointless existence.
How long have we been here?
How long will we be here? How long will Pear be here? Time, Lilith, is weird.
Yeah, whatever.
Look, life is to be lived. It shouldn't be held back by these temporal boundaries. Hello? What's this?
Stay where you are.
We made it.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
What exactly are we running from?
Oh, horror. Horror, horror and pain, my dear girl.
It smells so familiar here.
Oh, well done. I was hoping that you would notice that.
Oh, St. Paul's. Oh, so beautiful.
Something's very wrong. Oh,
Are you okay?
As long as we find what I'm looking for, we should have time for a spot of lunch.
Don't seem to be known about, though.
Now, I'm sure we're in the right area. Yes, very familiar. Yes, chaotic reinvention has been kind to me on this occasion. Especially the ears, eh? In fact, I'd go so far as to say downright gorgeous.
I've never seen you before. Of that I'm sure.
Yes, familiar.
Who are you, I wonder?
Now, I'm sure I had a tattoo.
In this world?
Never underestimate the power of plastic.
I think it's time for some shopping.
What seems to be the problem?
Situation is beyond my understanding. I require orders.
I can't help you there, I'm afraid. I'm not the ordering type. Well, not always, anyway.
Why can't I die?
oh, thank you. Thank you, Lola.
What happened there? You look terrified.
Well, I could imagine myself in that place, but in another time. Another time when I was there, but it wasn't me. Do you see?
No.
There's something terribly wrong here.
Isn't there always?
Yes, what adventures have happened here? Old friends, new enemies, misguided brilliance.
Lovely, I'm sure.
Here, I'm sure it was here.
That thing you were looking for?
Who's that?
I don't know. You stay here. This could get quite complicated.
Fine, I'll stay here then.
Why are you alone?
Alone.
Maybe. Although I believe it may be wrong of me to offer you help for some reason, I feel compelled to hope for your peace of mind. And mine.
Found a new friend, have we?
Oh. What?
Who are you talking to?
Oh, I don't know. He didn't give his name. Come on. Marvellous, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
Wake up! I don't have time for this nonsense.
Are you going to hit me with that?
I don't know.
Stupid girl. What a state of my jacket.
Well, it's no accounting for some taste, is there?
Right, let's move on.
If you have explanations, I want them. And I want them now.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm as much in the dark as you are, young man. You. Me. Is that what this is? But why couldn't I sense it? Has my time come already?
I can see I shall have to ask one of the others.
Others? What do you mean, others?
You were the closest. I could sense two others. As for you, I'd keep an eye on that companion of yours.
Maybe she has the answer.
I doubt it. I'll leave you to it, shall I?
A battle. It smells like a battle. A battle for a powerful weapon.
Like a nuke?
No, something capable of cracking this planet open like an egg. Or worse.
Who would build something like that?
You need a hand.
I'm becoming very tired.
Come on, let's find the top.
Nah, this is junk, not even Camden Market. I want to have a bath and wash my hair.
Look, just trust me, will you?
So, he was on the right track.
Who was? Why are you laughing?
We've already met, you and I. But you thought I was you, and I'm sure that isn't correct. But there are 3 of you.
Stand back, Tabitha. I don't think this one's a native. Can we help you at all?
I sincerely doubt it. Goodbye.
No, wait, can you help us? Do you know what's going...
What's wrong with my young assistant? What have you done to her?
I've merely calmed her mind. Something about her intrigues me greatly. I was called here and I'm glad I came. This game is proving to be quite interesting.
You're not making anything better by this, you know. In fact, you're making things a hell of a lot worse.
I thought that was your job.
Look, where are you taking her?
Somewhere where she'll be of more use.
The wrong time!
Fancy.
Come with me, my dear. I think you've been tormented enough.
What are you doing here?
I wish I knew. It's all slowly coming back to me.
There must have been some kind of traumatic shock, a new body.
More than that.
A mystery for us to solve, just like old times.
Yes, old times. Me doing all the work while you get all the glory. I spent decades trying to get anywhere.
But you're my friend. I'm always there for my friends.
It's too little too late as far as I'm concerned. I have my agenda and it will continue.
That's the spirit.
I wouldn't be so positive if I were you. I hold a special place for you in my dark heart.
I'm sorry.
Oh dear, he wasn't joking. Kindly watch where you're going in future and in past.
Where is my assistant? What have you done with her?
Mine was stolen by a strangely familiar young lady.
I wouldn't have thought you interested ladies too much, dressed like that.
I think you'll agree that this is hardly the time for facetiousness, my young boy. What is wrong with that young lady over there?
That's no young lady, that's my Tabitha. Tabitha, come here. She's not listening.
Do they ever? Well, come along, dear boy. I'm sure she'll lead us to some answers.
I hope you're right.
What happened?
I don't know. But at least I know I'm real.
I have an idea.
I knew I could rely on you. Now get me out of this nightmare.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I can see you've put 1 and 2 together. Now all you need is 3.
Kindly refrain from speaking in riddles, madam. Are you going to tell us what is going on?
And ruin my entertainment? Never. I can tell you this, however. You're so close it must be burning your hearts. The objects that you seek is quite nearby. It's the last of its kind.
What an infuriating woman.
That's odd.
Yes, isn't it?
What do you think it means?
I think it means that you are insignificant. For once. Now get going.
So, is it yours or is it mine?
Mine, actually.
Not another one.
You know it's a prison.
Of course. What would I do to deserve that?
Not ours. His.
Well, gentlemen, we've reached the final curtain. I have become trapped in here, my essence draining away. But I have manufactured my means of escape.
I threw him in.
To the eye.
San Francisco, 1999.
This place is a construct of memories. I entered it physically and have been given new flesh. But now it is time to leave and continue my work.
Do you really think I'm going to allow you to escape?
You don't have the only door.
Is this farce nearly at an end, you cretinous oaf?
Thank you for reminding me. You are just an image. I am the master here. Goodbye.
Of course. Lola.
Lilith.
Tabitha.
What will happen to us?
Nothing much. Ever. Maybe you'll exist one day. Maybe you already have. Somewhere. Somewhen. But rest assured, gentlemen, we will meet again.
I shall look forward to that.
Knock, knock.
Hello?
going to tell us what is going on?
And spoil my entertainment? Never. I can tell you this, however. You're so close it must be burning your hearts. The...
Speed and action. Oh, cut. Sorry, is that a plane? That can be a problem. It's Superman. I think it was that noisy van.
Yeah.
Okay, we're rolling still. Okay, stand by.
Is that the end of the scene? What? How's the next one? Oh. Why are you alone? Sorry.
We have already met, you and I. You thought I was you, so I couldn't even start again.
Sorry.
It's my eyes.
Rob didn't quite.
Come on. Come along, would you? Come on.
To the eye. San Francisco, 1999.
This place is a construct of memories. Sorry, I don't know.
Maybe. Although I believe it may be wrong of you, although I may... Excuse me. Oh. Okay.
Kindly refrain from speaking in riddles, madam. Are you going to tell us what is going on?
So, he was on the right track.
Who was? Oh, right, cut.
What?
Bit of a framing issue.
Oh.
Okay, keep rolling. We're still rolling. And action. Who was?
So I thought we were starting from the top. Okay.
Sorry. Action.
What have you done to my assistant? What's wrong with her?
I've merely calmed her mind.
Thank you for reminding me. I am here, you are not. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why.
We that one up. Missed a couple of lines, sorry.
I didn't.
No.
You did.
What will happen to us?
Nothing much. Ever. Maybe you have existed.
Where are you taking her?
Somewhere where she'll be of more use. Oh, I'm sure everything will become quite clear to you.
Now get me out of this nightmare.
I didn't pause, did I?
Where are you taking her?
Somewhere where she'll be of more use. Sorry.
Maybe you have existed once. Maybe you will exist again. So.
Speed. And action.
What happened? Oh, sorry, I forgot my accent. Sorry, I'm really sorry. That was really bad.
Yeah.
Action. What will happen to us?
Very little. Ever. Maybe you've existed once. Maybe you will exist one day. Somewhere. Somewhen.
You're not making things any better, you know. In fact, you're making them a whole lot worse just by being here.
I thought that was your job.
Where are you taking her?
Somewhere where she'll be of more use. Oh, I'm sure everything will become clear soon. I will see you again. I wouldn't want to miss that for the world.
Fascinating.
Sorry.
Oh, St. Paul's. So beautiful.
Something's very wrong. Oh.
Are you okay?
Good. I did it that time. I didn't look at the
Oh. Thank you for reminding me. So I forgot to change you, mate.
Okay. Keep rolling. Back to the market.
Now I'm sure in the right area. Yes, very familiar. Chaotic reinvention has been very kind to me on this occasion. Especially ears, eh? In fact, I'd go so far as to say downright bloody gorgeous.
Shoes!
What's the line now, sorry?
You're just an image. I'm the master. And action.
Is this fast nearly at an end, you cretinous oaf?
Oh. Thank you for reminding me. I'm here. You're just an image. I'm the master here.
You're just an image. I'm the master.
You're just an image. I'm the master here. I got it.
And action.
Oh, St. Paul's. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Oh, something's very wrong. Oh.
Are you okay?
I don't really know.
Just don't whack me. Okay.
Oh dear, he wasn't joking. Kindly refrain from watching me in future and in past.
Sorry.
Action.
I'm not supposed to stop there. Sorry.
Yes, chaotic reinvention has been kind to me on this occasion. Especially the ears, eh? In fact...
Sorry, you need to step that up to your gold bar.
Right. Yes, chaotic reinvention has been kind to me on this occasion. Especially... It's too loud, isn't it? Yeah.
What are you doing here?
I wish I knew.
Oh dear, he was right. Kindly watch where you're going in future and in past.
Sorry, that was right.
Oh.
Oh, St. Paul's. It's so beautiful.
Oh, something's very wrong.
Oh. Are you okay?
I don't really.
That's the spirit.
I wouldn't be so positive. Sorry, I
Yes, chaotic reinvention has been kind to me on this occasion. Especially the ears, eh? In fact, I'd go so far as to say downright gorgeous.
Okay, one more for the road. Sorry.
What do you think it means?
I think it means that you are insignificant.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Chaotic reinvention has been kind to me on this occasion. Especially the ears, eh? In fact, I'd go so far as to say downright gorgeous.
I think it's time for some shopping. I think it's time for some shopping. Oi!
Action!
You were the closest. I could sense two others. If I were you, I would keep an eye on that companion of yours.
I think it's time for some shopping.
I shall look forward to that.
Possibilities was originally made to just be shown at conventions. We'd already made 4 films by now with the same cast and crew. Some shadow, some haunted wonder of fantasy. And it was also a kind of reward, as a lot of them are Doctor Who fans. That short bit of dialogue was actually cut out of the finished film by Neil. I'm quite pleased he did, because I don't think it works that well.
Obviously, the script is packed full of Doctor Who references, but there's a little Back to the Future one in there as well, when the character that Rob plays is stumbling around in Perivale, And it's a little reference to Marty's first entrance into the 1955 Hill Valley in Back to the Future.
We hoped to film the whole thing within a weekend, which was totally unrealistic due to all the locations.
Right, playing the Rani Impossibilities. I wish I'd come up with a different costume idea, to be honest. I felt I stood out from everybody else, and I felt as if I was being stared at by passers-by, and not too happy wearing too much makeup, but never mind, I enjoyed it being evil, especially on the hopscotch. And
I think Jennie actually wanted to play a female doctor, like myself, wanting to play the doctor, but there would have been 6 doctors and no villains otherwise. But I was happy to avoid casting myself as the doctor.
I was a last-minute replacement in Possibilities to play one of the doctors, and I was a bit worried about that, you see, because some people can go mad if you don't get it just right, especially with something like Doctor Who, and so I don't know, maybe it came across all right in the film, maybe it didn't, but I like to feel that I wasn't copying anyone, but staying true to the Doctor Who character.
Originally, this Doctor was written for James Noble, but he dropped out of the filming right at the last minute. I'd already arranged a full day's locations, and then he rang me on the Friday night, the day before, and said he couldn't make it. So I just couldn't reschedule, and I was not best pleased, actually. But amazingly, Jim stepped in with that short notice and turned out to be brilliant in the role.
And there are at least 1 or 2 dialogue scenes in there where I've referenced the style of Marty and the Doc talking in Back to the Future, where they're pacing up and down and Marty's trying to keep up with Doc.
Or worse.
I spoke a lot to Neil about the references.
What happened?
This film is very much showing and not telling, especially with I know that Sophie Orchard mentions the flats in the background on the commentary to Remembrance of the Daleks, so I asked him if we could try and get them in the same shot. But there's loads of other tiny references that don't actually leap out at you. Remembrance of the Daleks must have cost quite a lot of money, because we used 3 of their locations, and the graveyard one was quite expensive. So we actually only had an hour in there, and I was kind of hurrying people up and trying to act really solemn at the same time.
There was a point where I was stuck outside Sloane Square Tube Station for about 2 hours waiting for people to turn up. But I enjoyed visiting the various locations, especially the graveyard, the Remembrance of the Daleks, not Darlings location.
And this scene was also cut out. But it doesn't really serve to forward the story, so it would have cut down the pace a bit.
I had the most awful day in the park because Rob didn't tell me where we were meant to be, so I walked up and down in heels this big, and it was awful all day. My feet were ripped to shreds, and I was in a very bad mood by that point. But yeah, so no, that wasn't fun. Yes, the anger where I'm throwing a rock at his head, that is absolutely real. But not at him, it should have been Rob's head.
At the end of the first day shooting, we had a hellish time trying to find the obelisk, and we searched for 2 hours, and then finally found it miles away in the distance. But we did get a shot of it in the background, which is what was used in Morgan Undead, and we also feature the college, as you've just seen. So we achieved what we went there to do, I think. And then on to day 2, Ealing Broadway, which is quite close to where I live. Luckily, a lot of the cast were sleeping at my house.
There was actually a lot of waiting about. They say this happens, don't they, when you see these DVD commentaries and stuff like that. They say there's always lots of waiting about. And it didn't bother me because I'm always pissing about anyway, so it was... I just found ways to bide my time, and But when things get set up and that, you got to get back into character, which is probably the hardest bit. You're still in having a laugh mode sometimes, and it can annoy certain people, I'm sure.
This is another scene where there's lots of little touches, like Jim mentioning the tattoo, and Rachel here with her weapon. It's supposed to be reminiscent of the baseball bat from Remembrance, but we couldn't find a baseball bat.
That was good fun playing Jim's companion. We had some quite fun scenes, and I really liked my character because she was a bit ditzy, and I don't know, it was good fun playing her. And Jim was brilliant and helped me, so it was really good.
I wrote the script using 3 doctors because I just couldn't decide what kind of doctor I wanted to write. And also, when I came up with the story idea, it kind of worked a lot better to use more than one doctor. If anybody thinks that Richard is not doing a very good impression of the first Doctor, it's actually not meant to be the first Doctor. All 3 doctors don't actually exist. Hopefully you get that from the script, but they're just all possible regenerations, hence the title Possibilities. When we got to the school location from Remembrance, which is in Hammersmith,
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
we had to look at it at a certain angle before we realised this was the right place.
What an infuriating woman.
And then on we went to Telecom Tower.
Well, come along, me. I'm sure she'll lead us to some answers.
I hope you're right.
I think I had to find the location where they filmed it rather than the actual Telecom Tower to get this scene correct. Because they don't, well, they do go to the Telecom Tower, but I wanted the nice visual image, and Neil expanded on that by doing a shot of the 2 doctors silhouetted in front of it.
Well, I'd got involved with Megropolis 1 first on Blood Relative, the vampire film, that very first film they did, and I just responded to an advert on Shooting People, a filmmakers network, and that was the first time I met Rob and the regular cast and crew of the Megropolis films. And Rob knew that I was making a feature film called Soul Searcher, and he knew that I wanted to get into directing, so he very kindly asked me to direct Possibilities. And being a bit of a Doctor Who fan myself, I understood most of the references in the script, though some of it had to be explained to me. And it was quite a fun shoot, because it was just a few days, which was a lot less than I'd been used to on my other projects. And it was done over 2 weekends, and everyone was pretty good-natured about the whole thing. We had a bit of a laugh. 1 or 2 little things went wrong, but really it was quite enjoyable to do.
We were told by a very kind lady while we was filming in this location that one of these houses was a brothel, and she assumed we was there for that reason. I'm not sure why. It was the middle of the day. Again, using 3 companions, there's lots of different types of companions, and the companions in our story are more extensions of the doctors they accompany, as well as being types of companions that the Doctor has had over his travels. Although this shoot was stressful and it cost a lot of money, and I had very little money, and it was a great struggle getting all the actors together again. We did have probably the best time out of all the films we've made. Maybe because everyone was doing, finally, the script they'd always dreamed of doing, playing the Doctor. Although it does feature 4 actors who are not confessed Doctor Who fans. The only reason we filmed in this location, which is Sloane Square, is because I know that the number 22 bus travels around that, and that was a reference to Iris. I might offer a prize to anyone who can spot every single reference, visual or otherwise. Another reason was that Sloane Square is quite close to this location, which is Albert Bridge, which is where a few scenes from Legopolis were shot. And this was one of the ones that Neil was really keen to recreate the style and theme of, and Steve Foxton, who did the music, does a brilliant spooky homage to the original music from that scene where the Watcher is standing. But the twist here is that in that story, they believe it's the Master standing on the bridge, but it's actually the Watcher. And in our version, the character thinks it's some kind of Watcher standing up there, when it is in actual fact the other character, if you know what I mean. It was actually raining a lot in this location as well, but it doesn't show up on screen, but it actually gives it a really nice dark, because it's a dark scene. It's when things start to get a bit serious, and we also wanted Battersea Power Station in the background as a link to Dalek Invasion of Earth. And here we have the fun of trying to throw a rock into the water directly in the middle of the camera lens. It took about 30 or 40 rocks. I was scouting around for rocks for about 2 hours, I think. I should mention about Richard, he was recovering from an operation around this time, which resulted in the hobble and walk. It's not actually part of the character. No, I'm joking. But he was in quite a bit of discomfort, and I'm really grateful that he still was keen to make the film. And then for this effect shot, I wanted at least one scene where my character just fades away. I explained it to Neil, and he in his brain he just knew it would be easy, and that was one of the easier shots for him to do. This shot was a nightmare. I think there's about 12 takes, and we're getting quite late in the afternoon, and we still had another location to go to, but we got it in the end. But Richard's last line was cut off, which is a bit sad because it's a great line. And then in the evening, most of the cast and crew went back home or back to my house to wait for us to finish. And Jill, myself, Richard, and Neil and the camera crew went on to St Paul's, which is linked to the story The Invasion. And a few tempers flying here because it was a very long day, this one, and this particular shot was taking quite a while, and everyone was just had enough by now. And even Jill, who I've never seen lose her temper, after like the 13th, 14th take of this shot, a tourist decided to step in between Jill and Richard and ruin the shot, but thankfully he was too late to ruin it, and I've deliberately not included him in any outtake or anything. And here's Neil, the director. The haunting of a Cyberman, where he's got his headphones on and all digital technology around him, just descending the stairs in a robotic manner. We're off to Earls Court. It was 6 AM in the morning, and I think by now I'd had enough. I was fed up of doing this film. I thought it was never going to get finished, and we were so close. And the only police box we know of is in Earls Court, outside the station. And even at 6 AM, there was so many people around, walking past, going, "All right, doctor," because everyone was dressed up in their doctor outfits, and we'd all kind of lost our sense of humour by then. Well, then we moved on to the opposite view, because this is not actually opposite the TARDIS. This is down the road a bit, because opposite the TARDIS looked wrong. It was the front of the station. It looked bad. So we moved down the road to where this nice red brick wall was, where myself and Jennie shot our closing scenes. And this scene was cut down quite a bit, because there's originally a lot more exposition from my character, but you don't notice in the film, and I think it would have fatigued the whole drama of the piece to have included it, so I'm quite glad it was cut out. It was cut out for timing reasons, because we needed to get it finished on this day. Jennie affected her excellent scream here. Luckily it was only one take, as probably could have attracted quite a bit of attention, because it was a very loud scream. But to go into the detail of the storyline, I'm actually trying to get out via Jennie's time machine. So Jennie, as she appears in this, is just an image, and that's why she doesn't look like she normally does, because this is fantasy, not real world. It's within the Eye of Harmony, I'm the only one that is flesh and blood within there. The three Doctor characters are possibilities, and the three companions, they're the ones that Jennie's character is interested in, because my character creates the first human TARDIS from them, somehow or other, without the aid of technobabble. And if you link up all the names, it spells Lolita, which is another reference.
Knock, knock.
In Possibilities, I played, I can't remember now, Lilith, wasn't it?
And then we're on to the final location, which is Butler's Wharf, which also cost quite a bit of money, which is where Resurrection was filmed. It looks totally different now to when they filmed it. It was quite derelict back then, but there's lots of shops now and flats. And we also actually cut out a full scene involving Tom and Sam's character, which would have been filmed in Clink Street, which is a reference to Talents of Weng Chiang. And we was actually going to have my character being dragged out of the water by Thomas's, and Jenny's character was dressed up as an old hag, and she would repeat those lines.
In Possibilities, I played Lilith, who was an assistant. I'm not quite sure what she was doing hanging around with this mad guy, because he drove her nuts. But she did get to see some lovely architecture, apparently.
And on the other side, out by the Thames, Sam is actually standing where the TARDIS would have been. It's another reference. And also, because this location cost quite a bit of money, I mentioned to Neil about getting as much of the view in as possible, and that's what resulted in the rotating shot of myself and Thompson, which was very difficult for the camera crew, but it comes out so well. I'm so pleased with that shot. I'm just pleased with the whole thing. It's just like, it was far beyond what I thought it would be when I thought up the story idea. And we also, because we don't have much money, we couldn't stop the general public from traversing. So the scene with Tom in the tunnel was quite a job to film.
What does the trouble seem to be?
Because I was actually standing at the other end of the tunnel, politely asking people not to walk through the tunnel while we just filmed this quick shot, and quite a few people just ignored me. But that's the fun of filmmaking, when you need to use locations like this. Finally, just before we ended, we had to do a few pickup shots, which is myself and Richard's lines at the Albert Bridge. Because of the rain, it affected the sound.
How do you do? Have we met somewhere before?
If you have explanations, I want them. And also a similar problem for Jim and Rachel when we was near the obelisk.
I'd definitely do it again. Yeah, it was really good fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed playing that part.
If you notice, Rachel's actually wearing a different dress there, so she pulled it down so you could just see her strap. And then the final shot was the cyber feet walking past Rachel and Jim as they ascend Ealing Broadway tube station. We hope you enjoyed it, because we enjoyed making it.